Hey, Josh the Balloon Guy here. Tonight I thought I would show you a couple of quick hats. One of them is one of the first ones that I learned, and it's commonly called the Jester hat, and it requires three balloons, and you're going to blow them up, leaving a little over a hand width at the end. All right, so a little over a hand width, and all three of them need to be about the same length. All right, so in this case, I'm using red, yellow, and blue. When you're doing it for a kid, of course, you're going to ask them what colors they want to do. Now, very simple. You're going to take one of the three balloons, and we're literally making a triangle to go around the head. So you're going to find about a third of what you think the head size is. And the good thing about this is it doesn't have to be that precise. But your first one, you're going to go down. And I mean, you can kind of measure across the head, because if it's across the head and to the back, they're going to be pretty close. Okay. And you take and make a bubble for one, and you just wrap it around the other. About like I said, about the width of the head is where you're wrapping the bubble. Okay. And we're gonna do pretty close to matching that. Again, make a bubble at the nozzle end, wrap it around the second balloon. Okay, making sure that we're not wrapping around the same first balloon, the same as the first balloon. And then the nozzle of the first balloon is going to come back and complete that circle. And at this point, you may have to double check your head size. Okay, see, mine ended up being a little off, but it's easier when you're doing it for someone in front of you rather than for yourself. And so now that red becomes my front color just because of the way it's laid out there. But once you have your head size in there, you just take the three colors and match them up as best you can close to the end. Doesn't have to be exact. And you're just going to twist all of them in, leaving at least a hand width. In this case, there's two hand widths there on each of these colors, just because I didn't really make those even, which is okay. Again, it's a Jester hat. It's meant to be goofy. It's meant to be funny. All right. And then we're going to make doodle bops. So the easy way is to twist off and then squeeze. Notice I'm kind of pushing the air to the end. So I don't want to give the air anywhere to go in between. Okay. Now, but so twist off. Don't pinch it, because if you pinch it, the air is not going to go anywhere. But just give it a good grip. So because the air is going to find the least resistant point, that's where it's going to go to. And that is a basic Jester hat. Okay. Another simple crowd pleaser is a crown. Okay. We call these princess crowns. We call them birthday crowns. We call them whatever. You're going to take two balloons. They can be two of the same color. I'm going to use two different colors just to help you distinguish what I'm doing. Okay. And again, we're going to blow each of them up, leaving about a hand width. Okay, so about a hand width, maybe a little more. And I'm going to do the same on the other. All right. Now, the simplest way to do this is go ahead and tie your two balloons together. And on one of the balloons, either one, but you want it to be whatever is going to be the top of your crown, you're going to twist off a small bubble. In this case, it's a little less than 2 fingers, and make a pinch twist. Okay. Then I do a hand width bubble, followed by another small bubble, pinch, match the two, match the length, making another bubble, and another pinch. And then I find a spot on my on my secondary balloon where it makes a good triangle, and I'll pinch off. And notice that they're almost the same size for this, but for the next step, this part's going to be much smaller than the next one that we're doing, because the next point on the crown, we're going to do a full hand and maybe just a little bit more. So if you do about a hand and about your palm and a thumb, okay, maybe even a little bit more than that, because we want it to be longer than the first triangle, taller than the first triangle. So make that bubble, or make the long bubble, then a small bubble, pinch twist, match up the bubbles, and then another pinch twist. This time, we're only going to give it about 4 fingers, and that's where that pinch twist is going to lay, because we don't want this to be widespread. We want it to be still very close together. Okay, and we're going to wrap that pinch twist around, wrap the balloon around, and then we're going to try to duplicate the size of the smaller triangle. So 4 fingers, and then a pinch twist, match up, another small bubble, and a pinch twist. And you see we're almost to the end of this balloon, which is okay because we're fixing to break this part off. And again, 3 or 4 fingers there. Wrap that pinch twist around. You can even use the end of the balloon to wrap around just to help secure it in place. And I'm going to go ahead and break that off. Okay. Nope, I put my scrap bag right there so that. And to keep it from coming apart, I'm going to go ahead and tie. And see, I just wrap the balloon around my thumb, come back around, and pull through. Oh. And now, for whatever reason, my fingers don't want to work right now. That's okay. All right. And then you're going to ask to borrow their head. Because, hey, I need to measure your head. Usually I end up doing it from the back and coming around the front. And you're measuring it just slightly bigger than their head because you don't want it to squeeze them, but you also want it to stay on securely. Okay, and we're just wrapping around that initial pinch twist. So we've made a loop, wrapping around the initial pinch twist, and then we're going to tear off. And either play with the child or add it to your scrap bag. Now I'm taking one of the nozzles from the original pinch twist and tying that around with the little piece left over. And then we're going to straighten all of our triangles up so that they point toward the sky. And ta-da, you have a simple crown. And you can dress this up by bringing in another balloon. In this case, I'll do one of these pastel matte pinks. You only need about half of it. Tie that into the first triangle's top pinch twist, and then going to make a couple of small bubbles. It's just a series of bubbles, and then I'm going to go into the big triangle's pinch twist. For that one, I'm going to do a petal twist and tuck the pinch twist in between. Okay, and then another series of small bubbles. Back to, this is just a little extra flair, extra detail. If you've got time, yes, that is pastel matte pink. I know it looks white, but I promise it's a very, very, very pale pink. But that just gives it a little extra flair, a little extra, a little extra design there, a little extra something special. So you've got a jester hat, you've got a crown, and the good thing about hats is you can go as crazy as you want. You can make these pinch twists. You can add in other details. So you can pinch these off, and then if you wanted to do the bubbles between, you could. You can add eyeballs. You could add a nose. You could do whatever you wanted to do. It's literally your imagination is. The possibilities are endless as far as your imagination is concerned. But again, keep practicing, and I'll see you next time.